Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by again. Look, we're just going to have a quick chat today because Bernie Sanders has announced that on Thursday he's going to release his climate change platform. Basically, Bernie Sanders on Thursday is going to release his platform for a Green New Deal. And as you guys may know, a Green New Deal is basically an assertion that going forward, we need a bold solution to the climate crisis, and that it can't just be about jobs and it can't just be about the environment. It has to be about jobs and the environment. And that we can use this moment to not only save ourselves from climate catastrophe, but also build a more just and more humane and more democratic social and economic order. We don't have to choose. And so Bernie Sanders and other politicians like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and here in Canada where I'm from, Jagmeet Singh and the New Democratic Party, they've all been pushing some form of a Green New Deal. So I have a few questions though, because with Bernie Sanders, he's already sort of backed the general Green New Deal policy. If you look on his website, for instance, he talks about a Green New Deal. He talks about it fighting crises. He talks about ending certain forms of energy production. He talks about using resources to help those communities most affected. He talks about creating good green infrastructure jobs. He talks about creating public transit. All of that is sort of there. And Bernie Sanders has been a fan of the existing Green New Deal. So I'm wondering, how will his Green New Deal plan look? Will it be a carbon copy of the existing Green New Deal that's been supported by a lot of progressive Democrats in the Senate and in the House? Or will it be something more ambitious? Or will it be less ambitious? Or, throwing out this more or less ambitious, because that's maybe too black and white, will Bernie's plan be more focused? Will it have a few key themes? Because it's not an aspirational document, it's something that a presidential hopeful is running on. And Bernie Sanders, of course, as a credible candidate to win this nomination and win the presidency, wants to be putting forth a policy that he feels he could implement. So you might see something a bit more streamlined rather than a very broad Green New Deal. I think you're going to see Bernie Sanders in any case, though, do what Bernie Sanders does best, which is connect these sorts of policies to the underlying issue of class conflict in America. Bernie Sanders does that better than anybody I've seen in generations. I'm a historian, I've studied politicians, and somebody like Bernie Sanders, he's an expert at it. And rightfully so, he's been so consistent in those views. Bernie doesn't just say we have to solve the climate crisis and talk about it as if it was created out of nothing. And Bernie Sanders doesn't talk in the language that, everybody's equally at fault for this crisis. Bernie Sanders has noted that fossil fuel billionaires, that the richest Americans, have created this crisis and have predominantly benefited from the crisis. And therefore, when we build that Green New Deal, the majority of the sacrifices will have to be borne by those rich. And so to fund the programs needed, they'll be funded by taxes on the rich, taxes on wealth and income and capital gains and stock transactions, and on and on and on. And that goes to Bernie's, tax plan. Bernie Sanders has been key in noting that the crisis was not caused by the working class, and so the working class need not be punished by the transition away from this fossil fuel economy. And that not only should they not be punished, there are new and exciting opportunities that lie on the horizon with a Green New Deal. And that's why Bernie is key. For a long time, fairly or not, the environmentalist movement has been seen as unsympathetic to working people or ignorant of working people. And it was often felt, again, fairly or not, in some cases fairly, in some cases not, that because of that lack of empathy and understanding for working people, they could never build a broad economic consensus for a transition away from fossil fuels. But now with a Green New Deal, we have as good a chance as ever. Bernie Sanders is the perfect candidate in the United States to lead with that plan. And that's why I think this is such a crucial moment. Only Bernie Sanders in this field. There's other decent candidates. Again, I've said nice things about Elizabeth Warren. But Bernie Sanders, unlike no other, has this credibility amongst regular people to say, look, I know this transition will be unnerving. It's bound to be. But you have to believe that with this Green New Deal, we're going to build something better for you and your children and your grandchildren. That working people don't need to choose between, putting food on the table and air they can breathe, and choose between food on the table and their homes flooding, or choose between food on the table and systemic droughts and forest fires. They don't need to choose. And so the Green New Deal is the path forward. So that's what I'm really interested in seeing. I want to see Bernie Sanders continue to sell this plan as the working class finally winning the battle of class conflict. And I want to see specifically where his climate plan goes, because I think there's going to be a challenge in, parroting the existing Green New Deal versus offering his own distinct path. And if he goes his own distinct path, there is a risk that there are disagreements with the existing Green New Deal, or he goes more narrow, and in going more narrow, it might be easier to sell, but some people might say it's less ambitious. These are going to be major factors. And as a Canadian, I'm really interested to see how Jagmeet Singh's Green New Deal compares to what Bernie Sanders will release. As I noted in the Washington Post, the Green New Deal under the NDP is unique in Canada. Justin Trudeau and his Liberals aren't offering it. Elizabeth May and the Green Party aren't offering it. Only Jagmeet Singh is offering a systematic plan to link the concerns of the environment with the concerns of the working class. And in that plan, there's, building green vehicles. There's building the public transit of the future. He wants to work with cities, for instance, to ensure fully electric and fully free public transit by 2030. Jagmeet Singh wants to retrofit every single home in this country. And by doing this, Jagmeet Singh suggests he can create hundreds of thousands of jobs. This is an exciting platform piece, and I'm glad it's being shared on both sides of the border by real progressives. Fake progressives like Justin Trudeau and like so many of Bernie Sanders' challengers, they'll talk about the climate emergency, but they will do nothing substantive about it. They'll talk about it, and then they'll continue to kowtow to the fossil fuel industry and to the economic elite. But with progressives providing a real deal Green New Deal on both sides of the border, I think we have a chance to build a lasting movement that's going to transition us away from not only the carbon economy, but the unjust capitalist economy. I'm really excited. I'll be talking about this some more when Bernie releases his plan formally later this week, but I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Bernie's plan is going to be really similar to the Ocasio-Cortez Green New Deal? Do you think it's going to be broader or narrower? What do you guys think? I'd love to know. Leave your comment down below. I'll read every single one and I'll respond when I can. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you next time.